These are the 2 ravines where Torreyas have been planted by the children, 20 in each. This is actually several ravines, and they're always cooler than it is up here in the higher land. And each child got to name their Torreya, and so it has the name. I've also marked whether they sprouted or not, and whether they are still evident or not this year. So the ones that sprouted in 2016 and the ones in 2019 that are still obvious. Oh, I got to tell you this one. So a little 6-year-old boy named Kyle had gone to Disney, and he was especially jazzed by the when you first go in, there's the President's Hall, and you stand on Lincoln's footprints, Abraham Lincoln's footprints, and he comes to life and talks about whatever he talks about.
Wow.
Well, the child liked that, so what he did was he made footprints, he and his grandma, and it says, standing in the shadow of the Torreya, and they took turns standing on the footprints saying, I am a Torreya, and speaking on behalf of the Torreya trees planted at Shoal Sanctuary.
Oh, wow.
That's on your little disc for you.
That's awesome.
Wow.
Yeah. And it's really fun. It's a lot of fun. And people, all walks of life, the age range on the I am a Torreya, I think it's 6 to 90.
6 to 90?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, people are sure enjoying this. It's a lot of fun.
Oh, that's awesome.
Oh. And is today January 30th?
Yes.
31st. Or,
30.
oh,
Okay,
30.
January 30, 2019. And you know, I went back and watched the video that I had put up from the markings, and
Yeah.
we're 4 years later.
That's right.
Yeah. Today's February 12th, 2015, Charles Darwin's birthday, and you can hear some water behind there. That's the grotto, and we're down in the Grotto Ravine of Shoal Sanctuary, northwest of Defuniak Springs in the Panhandle of Florida. This is an amazing place. Most of Florida is just, you know, sand and shells, but here we actually meet sandstone, so we have quite a grotto ravine here. But what occurred to me visiting here was that this could be the last stand of Torreya taxifolia. Historically, the botanists have never seen it here, possibly was never able to get here from the Peak Glacial Refuge along the Apalachicola east of here, Apalachicola River, Torreya State Park. But this is the best habitat I've seen. It should stay cool from the grotto, certainly moist, and along the edges of the ravine here, the sandstone is dripping spring, so it can stay really nice and moist here. So we just walked down these stairs. This is huge elevational change, very steep. Here's the side. Last time I was here, this side grotto was just dripping. It wasn't running, so there's been a lot of rain here. But look at the greenery. The greenery here. I think those are the gametophytes of the ferns. Pretty sure. Oh, look at the size of that Southern Magnolia. Glory, glory. Okay, I'm just taking a look around from here, from one stream to the next, and then I'll go back there for an introduction, but I just wanted to show how easy it is to get through here. And there's some sun. A lot of white oaks back here, so other than the Southern Magnolia, everything else is deciduous. So this is the time of year for subcanopy. Look at all these subcanopy evergreens here to grow. Yeah, and right there you can see deciduous trees. Here's a place to see what kinds of deciduous oaks are above this ravine here. Some sort of white oak. And I also noticed over in here, there it is, sweet gum, liquid amber, deciduous. So this place would be very, very dark in the summertime. Right now it's the Southern Magnolias that are giving it any shade at all. And here you have a lot of ferns, evergreen ferns back here.
Isaiah Torreya.
Isaiah Torreya, what a beautiful name.
Isaiah was the peacemaker fella. And of course on all the markers are written in runes. So this says Isaiah in the rune alphabet. It's our practical joke on archaeologists 1,000 years from now.
All right, we're going to take a close look at this one. Isaiah Torreya.
It has a double trunk.
Okay. All right, 4 years after planting, Isaiah Torreya shows no sign of herbivory. Its first growth spurt came up vertical, just about 3 inches, and then it put out 2 laterals. In the shade, you have a lateral here that shows 2 growth spurts to it. The initial one, and then there was another growth spurt that went off to go horizontally. This one looks to me like it was also 2, a very short one, and then it put another one off. This is a basal growth here, and this one is also 2 growth spurts. And you can see this is the time of year to do photosynthesis. It's really unusually cold today, but that's unusual. And look at how short that top growth is there. It realizes you're not going to compete for the canopy, but what you want to do is go out. So there are 2 lateral buds there, you can see, that are going to be the next growth spurt to happen. So it's going to keep going horizontal, slightly different angle from the laterals that are there right now.
That's the tallest one.
Yeah. All right, Isaiah Torreya, may the forest be with you. And I'll take a turn here. What's this cute little evergreen that's...
Bay.
Oh, this is bay laurel?
Uh-huh.
Okay. Oh my gosh, look at these beautiful ferns.
They look very familiar.
All right. So where's the next one, Chris? Where should I point?
Follow me.
Okay.
Smell.
Which way?
Right here.
Oh, okay. I see where here's where the cave is. Okay. Yeah, so point it out. I'll stay here while you point to it so we can see. Okay, right there. Right there. And what's the name of that one?
That one is New Hope.
New Hope. And then there's the grotto
there.
there.
And there's a double over there.
Okay, well, I'm coming over. So over here on the cave side, this one is the tallest. It's called New Hope, and it has very similar growth structure as the one we've just looked at, except it doesn't have a basal. This one went up very tall, 4, maybe a little more than 4 inches, maybe 5 during its first year up. Sent out 2 laterals, and then each of those 2 laterals has a second growth spurt on it, and then it sent up almost 2 inches, maybe a little more, another vertical on there, and right at the top are 2 laterals. So, lateral buds. So the next opportunity, it's going to be putting out. So let's take a close look here. There you can see right there the little brown area where the first lateral ended and then the next growth spurt came out. Little bit of tiny rodent predation, it looks like there, just sampling a few leaves, not a deer, nothing very destructive. And this lateral here, there right in the center, you can see the little brown that had ended the first growth. And there's the second growth on it. And then right there, upwards, a little maybe more than 2 inches, and there are the 2 lateral buds getting ready to burst in the spring. So New Hope, here's its sculpture rune, and back there is the little waterfall.
Little fella named this one, I think it was a 10-year-old, named this one Evan. And a week after he planted it, with tender loving care, we came out and found a big seed on top, and a slug had eaten it out. And we thought it was the Torreya. So we planted another Torreya seed here. 4 years later, we have 2 trunks. We don't know whether one Torreya may be making a double trunk or whether 2 different seeds have sprouted, but we definitely have 2 different Torreya trunks here. Because it seemed unlikely that that little slug could eat the entire thing in 1 week, but who knows?
Yeah.
May have been really hungry, so we didn't take any chances. We popped another one in. And now we have this.
Okay, well before I come up there, I want to take a little view around here of this ravine cliff. And this is bay laurel down here in evergreen. Over in this direction, here's the grotto and the pool. And what's interesting for me here, these ferns are very different from the ones we were looking at.
They're not, are they Christmas ferns?
No, these are not your classic evergreen ferns. They're, in fact, this seems like really new growth. Really, it's soft, like it grows this time of year. Over here is the classic evergreen fern, right there. And up there. Those are the classic evergreen ferns. So there must be something, this must be more moisture loving, this fern.
I remember we had a botanist out here who said there were Christmas ferns right in this vicinity, but
right.
I don't remember which ones they are.
The evergreen are the Christmas ferns.
Those? I see.
Right, right. Notice some lovely ferns that we've got here on the ground. You won't see any of these in the upland. These really require cool. So here's a close-up of Evan Torreya, and when I look at the base, it doesn't look like it's a stem and a basal. It looks like it's really two separate growths. The one on the left went in incredibly tall to begin with, stretching towards the south with tiny leaves along it. Those are really tiny. I don't think it was getting any sun at all, and it was just trying to find some sun. And then a little over an inch was the next time it grew out. And that is the top, and it's leaning in that direction, but it's got a really nice radial structure to it, and there's one little lateral bud. I don't know if it's going to open up in the spring or whether it'll wait till the end of summer, but the very next growth, it's going to be its first lateral, and the first lateral is kind of heading up in that direction. The sun is to the left, and here's the second stem, same thing, went up tall, and here it had just an inch of another growth coming up, and there's nothing in the center. There's no lateral bud, no extra terminal. And what I found, if they have severe shade, which they must have here, they'll easily go a full year without putting on extra growth. they just keep photosynthesizing during the winter when they finally get some sun and storing up energy in the roots. And then maybe, you know, after the next year, they'll put on another growth spurt. But this is really exciting to see this. Absolutely no herbivory on this. If there is, it's just some little tiny tips of the branches. But that's really, really exciting. So is this, Chris, is this our closest to the creek? I mean, to the falls?
To the waterfall? Yeah. This is the closest to
Okay, I'm going to move over here and show what the waterfall. Yep, right there. And look at the sun. You've got sun on you.
Yeah.
And little, yeah, look at, you can see the glossiness shining. We got, it's a little overcast right now, but the sun is coming straight in. Let me do a look-see over there. Look at all the evergreen we've got in here. Yeah, look at that. It's all evergreen. This does not have any real deciduous canopy here, so it's not getting a heck of a lot more sun now than it gets in the summer. So I bet this one is just going to be really slow. It's going to be trending horizontally like they do in California. They'll just go right along, heading out, looking for any bit of sun, and just be real patient. All right, let's continue on.
They seem to like the steep hills without, like the ones that are in total wet aren't doing as well. The steep hills, now you'll notice that with this one, which is doing best, it's on a steep hill and it's doing really well. The next one is also on a steep hill. However, that one is right where there's runoff, and we didn't realize that when it was planted. So several times we found not only the pinwheel, but the stone downhill from it where it ran off and was washed downhill.
Wow, and that one doesn't have a seedling?
Yes, it does.
It does?
It's sprouting, but it's struggling, and you can see it's, I think it's, I've got it written down, I think it's 3 inches. Let's see.
And what's its name?
Yeah, that one's 3 inches. That's Dino. That's the one that Kyle, 6-year-old Kyle planted.
Oh, Dino, and then the first one I'm going to show.
And this one, luckily, is sister and brother, Olivia's.
Oh, Olivia and Kyle, Fossil and Dino.
Yeah.
And I am sitting in a place because Chris says she cannot get there, and I certainly don't want to destroy the slope. But here we have an evergreen fern in front. I'm right by a laurel, mountain laurel. You can see how steep still the slope is. Nothing showing up there. But here, she says this is the tallest one. And this is the one called Fossil. And so all I can do is do telephoto. I can't go in there at all. And that's fine. We'll see what we see here. So here is the top of Fossil. Okay, looks like the 2 laterals are just one episode of growth. It doesn't look to me like there's a terminal that's going to go up again. It looks to me like it's going to wait a year and not put any new growth on and just keep absorbing sunlight. No herbivory on there at all, from what I can see. Not going to extend the laterals anymore either. There's no buds there. And now let's look down the trunk. Look how big and healthy those first leaves are. They don't grow leaves any bigger the next year. You know, whatever they come out as, that's what they're going to have. But this is the tallest one. And here you can see it coming out. But as she said, this steep slope that's moist, but not too moist. So over there at the pink survey tape, we'll find another place to take a look at it. But that one is going to be called Dino. And we're I'm directly facing the sun right now, a bit overcast, but we're looking due south right now. And you can see the ravine is kind of widening out at this point. All right, let's go find Dino. All right, Michael is sitting at Dino. And yeah, keep your hand in behind it there so we can get a good look. Oh yeah, wow, that's tall. How tall?
That's the tallest one.
How that first growth? What would you say?
Oh, right from here to here is probably 5 inches.
Wow.
Up here, yeah.
And is there any sun on it right now?
Yeah, sun on it right now.
Okay, 2 laterals going off or 3?
2.
Okay.
And what she said was the water rushes down here. This pinwheel and the stone both washed down, but Torreya held on.
All right, Torreya. Okay, so here we see, get our bearings with that gorgeous Southern Magnolia. And here you can see there's no moss. There's moss on that part of the cliff. No moss here, but look at that. So yeah, look at, Michael, point at that little hole there. No, behind the spring.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so when we get a big rain, there's water that comes out of there. And then this is looking straight down at the creek. Look at these beautiful evergreen ferns that we have here. Oh, here comes the sun. Let's get a sense of, I see sun right at your feet. Oh my gosh, we almost have sun there.
We do. Come over here.
All right. Okay, this one you can see it's been through a lot. The only herbivory I see are on that upper part, and look at the sun on it, on the upper part of that lateral. You can see it's like clear bites off it. It doesn't look like a physical injury. It looks like a rodent type herbivory, but I don't know. But see the mess that we have kind of here? What happened, I look closely at it, you can see the stubs of 2 laterals, but it looked like it was a physical injury. There's a little bit of a lateral here, but this part of it is all stripped, not herbivory, just incredible injury. I'm going to look and see if there's, I think there are 2 lateral buds right at the top there. I'm going to take a look, but this is a survivor. I am really impressed what this can do, and I think in the center there are 2 lateral buds. Let me take a look. There's actually 3 lateral buds. I'm looking at the side of it because that little one, the apical is going that way, and what looks to me is that it spent some time pulled over in this direction, because that is the top with the 3. So now it's been released again, but this is just great. Very impressed. Okay, Dino Torrey, and let me turn here. Fossil Torrey, there you can see the purple. Look how steep these slopes are. These 2, brother and sister Torrey, brother and sister planted them, about the same height, different conditions. May the forest be with you.